Hi, good evening. Hello, my name is Michelle Samuel, and I'm the host of this particular show, which is Your Startup Advisor. This evening, we'll be talking about the Youth Ambassadors Program. For those of you who are unfamiliar of what the Youth Ambassadors Program is, it is an initiative that is actually spearheaded by the U.S. Department of State. And the Youth Ambassadors Program aims to develop a cadre of young adults from across the countries in the Americas who have a strong sense of civic responsibility, a commitment to their communities, and awareness of current and global issues, and so much more. And I am really excited to talk about this particular topic, specifically because we're talking about the youth. Now, remember, you can join in this evening's conversation right here on YouTube with us and as well on Facebook. Use the hashtag Youth Ambassadors so that persons can know what you're actually sharing and what you're talking about when sharing the link for this evening's event. Let me begin by, of course, saying to all of you, today is the 24th of March of 2021, and it's right now 7:02. Wherever you're joining us from, please let us know where you are. If you're in St. Lucia, let us know what parts of St. Lucia. If you are outside of St. Lucia, let us know where exactly you're joining us from. And of course, if your tag name is not your real name, please, of course, highlight what your real name is so that we can highlight you and give you a mention or a shout out. Now, when we come back, we'll be talking to our various guests. I'll be introducing them to you individually so that you will get to know who they are. I am so excited for you to meet with them. More on this when we come back. Welcome back, and thank you so very much to the Taiwan Embassy in St. Lucia for supporting the programming spearheaded by Slud Terra and, of course, myself. I would like to begin by welcoming my guests for today. So I'm joined by three phenomenal individuals. Two who are actually alumni of the Youth Ambassadors Program, and one is a representative of the U.S. Embassy of Barbados, the Eastern Caribbean, and the OECS. They will be sharing with us the content of the program as well as sharing experiences. You will get to learn more about what the procedure is like, and particularly as we're in these hard COVID times, what changes are made to the program for 2021. So, first up, I have my first guest, and his name is Sherwin Alexander. So, Sherwin Alexander is a young gentleman that I'm very, very fond of. He actually has solidified his place, where I could say, for a young man who has come a very long way from when I first met him several years ago. And I cannot wait for you to meet him. So let me first introduce my guest and bring him on board with me, Mr. Sherwin Alexander. So, Sherwin, good evening to you.
Hey, good evening.
And how are you doing this evening?
I'm blessed. What about you?
I am doing well by the grace of God. Praise the Lord for that. So, Sherwin, as I stated before, you are an alum of the Youth Ambassadors Program from St. Lucia. Can you first, just before we begin with the questions, tell everybody a little bit about who you are, and then we can delve into the questions about the program?
Oh, okay, no problem, no problem. Well, I am Sherwin Alexander. I am 17 years old. I currently study agriculture at Sir Louis Community College. I am the 2019 Male U.S. Youth Ambassador, as you all know, for St. Lucia. I am currently the president of the St. Lucia National Student Council. I'm currently the second vice president of the Barbados Youth and Sports Council. I captured the most outstanding student leader award for St. Lucia National Youth Awards. I am the former treasurer of the first youth group to stem from a credit union, the National Farmers Credit Union called VCUSLU. I am the second vice president of a fitness group called Innovate Fitness Family. I am one of the first Saint to graduate from the Leadership Academy at Princeton University. Also, I am a member of YAM, Advocacy Movement. I am the former treasurer of the Grizzly South Youth and Sports Council, a member of Build, a musician, an athlete, and the list continues. So, thanks very much for having me here tonight in your presence.
Okay, so you basically gave us an entire accolade and a list of things that make up who is Sherwin Alexander. So, from all of what you mentioned right now that you are doing right now, how did you first get to know about the Youth Ambassadors Program? I mean, did all of this exist before the Youth Ambassadors Program? Were you always this in touch with, community advocacy and activities and initiatives like this?
Uh, I will not say was always. I mean, I kind of started getting my love for youth folk from two going to form three. That's also when my life started changing because I mean I had several circumstances occurring before that. So after finding that I love helping, volunteering, and giving advice to the youth, I got mentored by several individuals. Two of these off my head, uh, Joshua and Andrew and Miss Lana Alexander, my former homeroom teacher. Um, they were the two who actually nurture a lot of the qualities that pushed me to join youth groups and volunteer and just be who I am today. Um, so I would not say it's something that I always was interested in, but the time that I found out I was interested in it, I went straight ahead and do what I have to do. Before the US Youth Ambassadors Program, I actually was the president of Duke of Edinburgh Awards came at my school. The student council, it was my second year of presidency, I think. I was the president of Junior Achievers. I was the head prefect, and I was an athlete. And I was already in several other little organizations, not so many, but I was in a few stuff. So before being the US Youth Ambassador, yes, I was already in some positions.
Okay, so it would be safe to say that this falls in line with what you are already doing. So it came naturally that you would have been interested in this type of program. But can you tell me what made you want to apply? What was that driving force behind you applying for the Youth Ambassadors Program?
So the Youth Ambassadors Program, actually, the way I got introduced to it, I think it was emailed to my school, and I think I was recommended, and my principal also, when he saw the email and he heard of it, I came to mind, and then he
Well, just to cut you just a short bit of time, can you please, of course, give a plug in for that school and that principal that did that? Because I
oh
think they need a mention.
yeah, so I my former secondary school is current secondary school. The principal
Current
is
secondary school.
Mr. Willard Andrew, and I must say he's in big support of youth and youth development in the school. Trust me. So yeah, it got filtered to him, and then he spoke to me about it. I applied.
Wow, that's a really great story behind how you got the information. It's not something that you were seeking out. It sought you out in a sense. So
Uh,
that was a really great thing. But okay, so did you know that you would have had this was a very competitive, type of application process? Were you confident that you would have been selected, for the program?
I mean, I always have my hopes high, but at the
Hmm.
same time, I do understand when something is just not for me. So, actually, before applying, well, in the process of applying, I pray to God and I let God know if it's for me, let me get it. If it's not for me, don't let me get it, and I would understand why. So, I mean, I seek my creator first, and as much as I didn't know if I would have gotten in or not, I was just prepared.
Okay, great answer. Great answer. I'm the same way. So, can you take us through the procedure? I mean, you heard about the program. So what happened next? Walk us through the application process, the procedure. What was it like for you? How long did you have to wait before you knew that you were selected? Let us know what that was like.
Okay, so that was back in 2019. So let me see what I can remember. Um, and I know Miss Howell would correct me when she comes on if I'm wrong. I'm definitely not sure if the application form is still the same. Remember, I said it was handed to me, so everything was printed for me from the school. So I think in the application I had to put in several information about myself,
Mhm.
um, even information about if I had a visa or not that would have been given to us, applied. I
Not a regular visa, right? I want to let people know it's not a regular visa. Don't think
yes,
the U.S. Embassy is giving away free visas, people. Okay, just
I'm
want to
going
correct.
to read that part. I'm going to read that part. So yeah, that occurred. I know in the form in the application there were about 4 or 5 essays, I think, or maybe more, I had to write about myself and just answering questions. The essays weren't long, like 1,000 words. I think the longest essay was 450 or 550 words
Mm-hmm.
maximum, I think, minimum. Not sure, but it wasn't lengthy essays. But I mean, you need to do this to really grasp you who's applying. So you need to grasp the kind of person that's applying. Um, just a lot of personal information, asking what you're involved in, getting to know uh, your academical record, and those different kind of stuff. Um,
So you
after
think so?
that,
This is all in an effort, to see whether you are where you fit the criteria, for who
yes.
they're looking for. So in terms of you applying, so you apply to this program. How long before you heard back from them, and with a yes, a confirmation that you got selected? How long did you have to wait? Was it a few
So
weeks? Was it a few
I think
days?
I think not too long after, I think I was told maybe in less than a week or two. I think in less than a week, I was told that I might make it to my interview stage or not, because I mean with a process you start to remove people who might not really fit the
So
criteria.
there's a process of elimination.
I think so. I'm guessing yes. Uh, and I reached my interview stage. I think I did 2 interviews. I can't remember. Miss Howell would correct. I think I did about 2 interviews and I passed both. Then I was told that there is another female who was selected. Sorry, female who was selected from Saint Lucia as well, and a mentor. Um, my mentor is enthusiastic, so
Mm.
he right away off the bat seek who Sherwin Alexander, who's Sephora, and brought us together. So, so yeah, it didn't take too long. It
Mm-hmm.
didn't take. It didn't take. I mean, but when you get the answer, you're not with 3 or 2 months, 3 weeks or 2 months before you get an answer. I don't think it was that way.
Okay, great. So you got your answer, and you found out that you were selected. Can you tell us? Okay, so the day comes when you're about to leave. Can you tell us where did you go to, and just give us just 2 minutes. Explain what that experience was like. Wherever it is that you were sent.
Oh, okay. So I would first say that I felt very, I would say, not exhilarated, but I just know that I was selected for something and there is a task ahead I need to execute. It wasn't something where I was like my mentor, very bubbly, and no, it was
Okay,
just that
you were
I
task
had a
oriented.
task, just do it, get it done, be myself, and because I think even going to that program, I had recently come from another program at Princeton University, and things were tense. And I was just praying that the U.S. Youth Ambassadors program wouldn't have been so tense. So my day of leaving, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't bad. It was just kind of a rush because I only spent like 1 or 2 days in St. Lucia, not much. Yeah, it was really good.
So it was a
We went to
preparation.
Barbados.
Where did you go to when you left St. Lucia, and how long were you gone for?
So I was gone for about 3 weeks, 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks. We went to Barbados. We spent, I think, about 3 days there, or a few days, and we met other youth ambassadors from other
The other islands.
countries, yeah, other islands. We met there, and then we went to, if my memory serves me right, Vermont.
Vermont. Okay.
But in our transit from flight to flight, we started meeting other ambassadors like
Along the
Trinidad
way.
and Jamaica, and it was
Okay.
really nice. I must say, that experience of saying, Are they on the same program as us? They are all unified. What's going on?" So it was really nice, and people were just in shock. So
Well, I could imagine what that feeling was like to see all of these people coming together. I mean, when you first did this, you were only thinking about yourself and the other person from St. Lucia, but now you're realizing there's more and more and more people. So, in your year when you participated in the program, approximately how many people would you say made up the Youth Ambassador program, if you can recall?
um, I'm not sure. Maybe about no more than 60 students, I think.
60 students.
I
Okay.
think I can't clearly remember.
Okay. And of course, with your participation in the Youth Ambassadors program, what impact, has that had on you as an individual and on what you're doing right now with all of the accolades and the groups and the associations that you're part of? How has that impacted you and what you're doing?
It has impacted me tremendously. Especially getting the outside experience. I would say actually that year was my first year traveling, and I would say the youth ambassadors experience it made me it made me value Saint Lucia, and I actually became more patriotic after
Wow.
going out, and it actually made me appreciate my color black to Black Wall Street, and we heard some stories and we had some experiences, and honestly, it broke my brain. I cried, and several of us cried, and those are things that we'll not really do when you're in Saint Lucia. But like I said, I think going on that program, coming back, I became very patriotic. I fell in love with Saint Lucia. You could swear I was a tourist, but yes, I appreciated my country.
That is amazing, man. For you to take part in a program that made you appreciate where you came from even more, that is phenomenal. Well, again, thank you so very much, Sherwin, for sharing that experience with us. But you mentioned that you are part of a particular group. Can you just give us a brief overview of what your role is, in this group and what this group is again?
Which group? The Saint Lucia National Student Council.
Solution National Youth Student Council. Yes. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so the Saint Lucia National Student Council is a general executive body that represents all students across Saint Lucia. We have student councils as I would say the heads of student movement at schools. We do a lot of student advocacy. Like I said, we're a student governance. Sorry, we're a student movement led by
Mm-hmm.
students. We have an entire executive. We voice out students' opinion. We try to um, we work on the best interest of students, as I'll put it. Currently, I'm the president of the National Student Council.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on that. So I definitely see you are making strides, several accolades, and now, of course, you can speak to the Youth Ambassadors program. But we're coming to something, towards the end of the program. I mean, the entire goal is to let people know what the program is about. what individual experiences were like. Yes, there are real people who participated, and also to encourage them to participate as well. So, Sherwin, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be bringing you back in a few later in the show. We have another guest that we're going to be talking to when we come back. So please stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We shall return. And welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching Your Startup Advisor, and we're talking about the Youth Ambassadors Program, particularly the one for 2021 this year, which is currently open. And I'm speaking with some Youth Ambassador alumni from St. Lucia, as well as a representative from the U.S. Embassy of Barbados. And my next guest is a mentor. He was a mentor in his year, and he shared several photos with me, which basically described this guy's enthusiasm. I mean, his personality showed in every single photo. There was not one where he was not smiling. And even when I got to meet him in person years ago, he just lit up the room. He had a wonderful personality, a great sense of humor. And I would like that to come across here this evening. So welcome, 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 Mr. Jamieson Edward. Jamieson, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing very well, thank you. How about you?
Oh, I am doing blessed by the grace of God. I'm doing blessed. So, Jamieson, so you heard me give you this great intro, but of course, nobody can say it better than Jamieson himself. So, tell us a little bit about you and what you're currently involved in.
Oh my goodness, you're asking me to just reveal an entire chapter before you, but I'll make it brief. I am an educator by profession. I have been teaching for the past 8 years, students ages 6 all the way up to 11. I am currently involved in pageantry, dance, theater, the very first Mr. St. Lucia Independence, and
Wow.
a youth ambassador and mentor as well.
My goodness. I thought Sherwin's accolade list was long, but you're basically giving him competition for that one as well. So Jameson, so tell me, okay, so let's go right back. So you're doing all of this, and you
Yes.
heard about the Youth Ambassadors Program. How did you learn about it, and why did you decide to apply?
Actually, it's quite interesting. What happened was I was just scrolling through Facebook, just catching up on my daily feeds, and I saw the post by the US Embassy, and I said to
Mhm.
myself, interesting. I've always wanted an opportunity to use my skills and my abilities and to be able to have an impact on others. So let me see what it's all about. I looked and I'm seeing youth ages 15 to 18, and I'm like, oh man, nothing for me. And I continued scrolling and I said, wait a minute, an adult mentor? What's this all about? So I looked at it and I said, oh my goodness, this is my opportunity, this is my chance. So as soon as I saw that opening, I started filling out the application. I started reading more about the program. I went to YouTube to watch past the videos. I searched on Google to find out, what the program entails, how many people have benefited from it, what impact the program has. And I said that I would love to align myself with such a culturally rich and diverse program that would allow me to use what I have learned and use my skills to have a significant impact on different individuals that I would come across.
Wow. I mean, you went into this full journalist style. You did your research on this man. And okay, so you did all of this research. You said you wanted to align yourself with what this is really providing you with. And what would you say really drove you? What was the motivation behind this particular program? What about it that really sold you on it?
Well, one, it is a internationally recognized program. Two, it's a program that brings together individuals from different walks of life. And as a cultural individual, I have always believed that learning about other people's nationalities and the culture, it would definitely add to my knowledge. It would make me see a different light. It would also expose me to what is happening in other areas of the world, which I believe is very important, because
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't be nice to see that I am in St. Lucian. I don't even know what's happening all around me. I mean, as an
True.
educator, I need to be well informed, just as when I teach my students, I need to make sure that I teach them the right thing. So I think that it was important for me to be well informed. And this program, it did more than just that. It gave me a different perspective on lots of issues. And it's like mental health for sure, um, civic engagement as well. And most importantly, understanding the importance of building future ambassadors, how to go about doing it, and the impact that it's going to have in our future generation. Because we always say that the youth is the future generation. I
Mm-hmm.
agree with this statement, but I also disagree to some extent. I'm saying in my vision that youth who are mentored sufficiently are the future generation. Because we just cannot say youth are the future generation. There needs to be individuals who would train them and groom them to be remarkable individuals, productive citizens, and also contributing individuals using their talents and knowledge to ensure that the longevity of society continues generation after generation.
Very, very, very well said. I could not agree with you more. We don't just need youth to be the future, we need mentored and guided youth to be the future. So,
Definitely.
can you give us a bit of some information as to what your role as a mentor was in the program? And what year did you participate in? Was it the same year with Sherwin or was it a different year?
Actually, it was the same year we show in 2019 to 2020, which
Oh,
was an
so you
amazing
were
year.
the one he was talking
And
about. I was so bubbly and all over the place, right?
yeah, yes, it was me. And I've been an educator for the past 8 years, going on 9 years. And for me, I've recognized that the Youth Ambassadors program lended itself to that of my profession. So there was not anything that I would not do in my classroom that I would not do on the program. I would be in charge of youth, ensure everything is well with them, keep them motivated, ensure they always have a smile, answer questions to the best of my ability, point them in the right direction, and ensuring that they are safe, most importantly.
Safety is key, definitely. So, can you also give us an idea as to um, what was your biggest takeaway, from participating in, the program? What impact did it have on you and what you're currently doing?
Oh, wow. It made me realize several things. The importance of mental health, because in the Caribbean, we don't take mental health that seriously. I'm speaking in the St. Lucian context. Like if
Mm-hmm.
a 12 or 10-year-old comes to say, Mommy or Daddy, I feel depressed. Like I've grown up and like, who are you to tell me you're depressed? You going to school, you getting all your needs, but the problem actually lies beyond that. And I was quite ignorant to that. So being exposed to the program, it gave me a realization of, that depression is real, mental health is real, and that it should be taken into consideration, irrespective of whatever the age may be. And as a result of this, I was able to network myself with an individual here in St. Lucia, and he is putting together a group that targets the mental health of men. Because you find that there are many groups that deal with issues related to females. No discrimination,
Right.
but there are not many groups that address issues for men. So we're actually in the process of fine tuning this group. It's going to be launched soon, and I'm actually really excited that as I was exposed to the Youth Ambassadors program, I gained a better understanding of mental health and how real it is. And I use that platform now to network myself with an individual here where I could lend my hand, provide my level of expertise and also share what I have learned from the Youth Ambassadors program.
My word. So you're saying this is launching very soon. So I'm hoping that we can keep in touch and you can share this information
Sure.
with me so that, of course, I can get the word out there, because I'm loving what you're saying here. I mean, we have a lot of issues happening right now that that deal with that is mental health related, that persons are afraid to touch on or afraid to speak about. But
Yes.
it is very prevalent these days. I mean, so much is happening now that gives rise to what's the root cause of this mental health. So thank you so much, Jamieson, for sharing that that experience with us. So can you tell me just briefly, what were the types of engagement or enrichment sessions or networking sessions or events or activities that you all took part in? Can you give us an idea as to what that would look like?
Wow, you're asking me to write another book, but actually, there were sessions on team building for the ambassadors, which I thought was so important because I find that sometimes young people don't understand the importance of working together, collaborating with each
Mhm.
other in ensuring
Right.
that they reach a common goal. There were also programs where they learned different aspects of project planning, how to go about writing a mission statement, a vision statement, getting the goals and objectives in order, how they will go about marketing their projects, how feasible their projects are, and also different sessions where they were able to discuss issues affecting them, issues affecting youth in the country, see
Mm-hmm.
how similar it is across the different Caribbean islands, find recommendations and solutions to address that, and that was very engaging. And there was one that stood out for me, and it was a session where the topic was leading with love.
Mm.
And it exposed me and the ambassadors to different facets of what it means to lead with love. And I hold that dear to my heart. And I know all those who were part of it, they did take a lot from the session. There were also sessions where we went outdoors, where we had some fun. And there was a session where we actually assisted the kitchen staff at an institution for individuals who have been abused. And
Mm.
that was an eye opener for me, seeing how many individuals, especially young women and aged women, who've gone through such, horrible experiences, yet still they were able to find shelter, they were able to find comfort, and they were able to be fed. And for me, these things stood out for me. And in fact, I can go on and on because every time a program, every time when an activity was taking place, there was always an impact that it had on every single person. There was always a message for us. There was always something for us to look forward to. It actually made us, and I say us, meaning both myself and the ambassadors, realize that we are not in this alone. Like we are all in this
Exactly.
together. We
Exactly.
may have cultural differences, but the
Mm-hmm.
issues that affect us are real. The issues that affect us are common amongst us, and
Mm-hmm.
we should just work in ensuring that we find the best solutions in ensuring that these issues are mitigated and that we can have an impact on individuals. Because for me, I would hate to see that, we go through all of this and there is no impact. But there was so much impact. And I tell you, there was so much impact. I can go on and on. And I would just like to say that this program in itself is one that teaches you to discover more about yourself, to understand the cultural differences, particularly vis-a-vis that of the Caribbean and the US. And it
Right.
also equips you with the skills and the knowledge needed for the 21st century, not for back then, but for this 21st century, in ensuring that you are fully loaded and that you can go out and make change. You can go out and empower and go and uplift other individuals in efforts to ensure that we change the world. I know it's not possible, but some things can be done, and we are doing and we will do these things.
My goodness, Jameson, I officially endorse you for campaigning for Youth Ambassador 2021. I officially endorse you. Hands down, I officially endorse you. But thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing that experience with us. We're going to bring you back. We have to speak with our next guest coming up next, who is the representative of the U.S. Embassy. She will be sharing us more in-depth information about the Youth Ambassadors Program, particularly for 2021, because some adjustments, of course, had to be made due to COVID. So when we come back, we're going to hear from this representative. Jamieson, thank you so much for sharing, and stay with us when we come back. And welcome back, everybody. And again, my name is Michelle. I'm the host and moderator of Your Startup Advisor. For those of you who are just joining us, we are talking about the Youth Ambassadors Program, which is a program for young persons between the ages of 15 to 18 and adult educators to serve as mentors. And we are talking to three individuals who have been sharing their experiences, or two individuals, I should say, who have been sharing their experiences from the 2019 year. And now I have my next guest, who is a representative from the U.S. Embassy of Barbados, the Eastern Caribbean, and the OECS, Miss Lisa Howell. Lisa, welcome, good evening, and how are you doing this evening?
Doing well, Michelle. Thank you so very much for inviting me to be here today.
It is a pleasure to have you. How is it over in Barbados?
Right now, quiet.
Quiet, and I think you like it that way, right? You like it quiet.
I do.
Excellent. Okay, so Lisa, can you please share with everybody what role you play in the U.S. Embassy and just briefly introduce who you are?
Sure, thank you. So I am one of two cultural affairs assistants at the U.S. Embassy, and I work in the public affairs section of the U.S. Embassy. As a cultural affairs assistant, I am responsible for exchange programs. So programs for persons who wish to go to the United States to pursue academic and professional studies, and also programs which bring academics and scholars from the United States to the 7 islands that the embassy is accredited to so that they can conduct projects as well. So that's me in a nutshell.
Excellent. Well, glad to have you with us, Lisa. I'm sure with that brief introduction, you had a lot of interest peaking from, potential viewers. Exchange programs. I wonder what's in there for me, But what we're talking about this evening is the Youth Ambassadors Program. So we've heard the alum basically give their experience from a youth and from an adult mentor's perspective. But we want to delve into the program from inception, like the aim, the goal, the vision of the Youth Ambassadors Program. Who is behind it? Who is it for? And what is happening with it this year?
Okay. So the Youth Ambassadors Program is one of our exchange programs that's catered solely to young persons. So several of our programs would address kind of like specific areas or segments of society. This program is specific to young people because we did not want to have a program that was kind of like a catch-all. We wanted something that was targeted towards young people and that would be able to help them develop certain skills and traits that we think are necessary to help them to continue to like grow and excel, not just as students but as persons in their communities. So the Youth Masters program, that's the program that was developed by our Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs, and it's sponsored by the U.S. State Department. Of course, given the magnitude of the program, because it's not just done in the Eastern Caribbean, it's done worldwide, we have an implementing partner whose job it is to kind of target all of these really great ideas and initiatives and projects and programs and activities that we want to do with the young persons and make it into something that is kind of like more realistic and of course fun and engaging. So the implementing partner for this program is the Georgetown CIET. I won't
Okay.
go into too much of what their full long name is, but their responsibility, as I said, is to come up with what the schedule is going to look like. Who would be the persons that the youth ambassadors are engaging with? What are some of the activities that they're going to be doing? And when the program was an in-person one, pre-COVID, the cities that the youth ambassadors would visit and what would they
Right.
be doing in those cities. Um,
Okay. So you shared some information about the why behind it, and the what it is. Can you also tell us as to what who are the ideal candidates for the Youth Ambassadors program? What is this program? Who is it geared towards?
So I'm going to take a really bad shortcut and I'm going to say people like Sherwin, um, people like Sephra Serrier, and I forgive me, Sephra, if I'm mispronouncing your last name, but I'm Bajan, and I think that's something that apparently we do very well.
Yes,
Um,
Terry is correct, I believe. Yeah.
so the youth ambassadors, the type of person that we're looking for with the youth ambassadors program. So generally, we're looking at persons between the ages of 15 and 17. And for us in the Caribbean, that would translate to persons who are in fifth form, lower six, and fourth form. Because the
Okay.
idea is that after you have, if you've been selected for the program, that you must have one more year
In
in
school.
school and
Okay.
in public secondary school.
Okay.
Um, and Sherwin and Jamieson did an excellent job earlier of kind of alluding to like the characteristics of what we're looking for. So we're looking for those leaders within their schools and within their communities. You not necessarily have to be someone who's like getting all A's. I certainly did it when I was at school, but you're looking for persons who have they're pretty sound academically, persons
Hmm.
who their teachers and their peers look up to. So these are persons that would be kind of encouraging you to go the right way, as opposed to
Right.
encouraging you to kind of be like distracted and play the fool.
Understood.
So because one of the requirements for the program is you have to have at least two references, and these references, one would be a teacher, the other would be a community leader. So I found that past youth ambassadors have been persons who have excelled or done well in sports, persons who have very active volunteer lives. So they're part of like key clubs and those sort of civic um, opportunities, those sort of civic organizations. And they're people who are able to interact well with others and have a positive spirit. Because one thing with this program is that while, yes, you've got structures in terms of what are the things that are going to be achieved, what are the things that you're going to need to do, there's a big component of teamwork, of working together,
Right.
and not just with persons from the Eastern Caribbean, because as Sherman mentioned, you're going to be exposed to people from outside of our region. So
Right.
while you will be selected, if you are selected from the embassy in Barbados, you're going to be one of the 7 islands that we're accredited to, but you may not be placed in a group with persons from those islands that you're familiar with. So it forces you a bit to come out of your comfort zone and to be able to work with others that you have absolutely nothing in common with except that you're alive and you're breathing and you're all just kind of working towards a common goal. Um, I think one of the favorite examples that I like to draw from is one year one of the groups had to work on building um, a raft that would actually float and carry weight down a stream. And
Right.
of course, you're going to think, that's easy. You know, you get some wood, and I'm not a carpenter by any means, so please bear with me. But you get some wood, you get some nails, and off you go. But none of those traditional materials were available. So you're
Oh.
basically using whatever is there. So be it, I don't know, twigs, be it some rope, and you guys have all got to come together on what is the best way to put these things together, what will actually float and what will actually work. And I am so pleased to say that our group, and I always kind of take like a personal investment in this. So when my group, when the youth ambassadors excel, I'm there with them. So the group that year from the Eastern Caribbean, they won. Their
Wow.
craft was well constructed. and it worked. So just as an example of that. So you're looking for persons who are able to also kind of think outside of the box and just be creative. Um,
So
right.
you basically describe a lot of the young persons that I see every single day in the programs that I do. The only shortcoming is that there's not much for the youth to do in country per se. So having programs like the Youth Ambassador program really allows them or gives them that opportunity to be a part of something bigger than themselves and to want to be a part of something, just like what Jamieson said. And I can basically empathize with how he felt being a part of this, because I felt the same way when I was a part of Wildlife. I mean, it was just a phenomenal experience, and these programs tend to have a really big impact on individuals who are willing to be open and to share as well. But we have um, I would say a flyer that I would like to bring up on the screen. And I would like you to just, walk us through this flyer, Lisa, so that you can tell us like what is it that we should be expecting from the program this year, particularly due to COVID, because COVID really did, for lack of a better word, mess things up for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So can you just walk us through what this year's program is like, and how does it differ from previous years?
Okay. My pleasure. So first thing is the first major change is that it's going to be virtual. So unfortunately, there will not be a travel component to the program this year. Um,
I know some people would have wanted to do that part of it, because travel really is
yeah,
exciting. Yeah.
it is, and that is a major component of exchange. So I don't envy the implementing partner in their task of trying to recreate all of the good stuff that you do in person virtually. I don't envy them that task. But this year it will be virtual. This year, it will also be a bit longer. It will be for 5 weeks.
Oh,
But the difference is that I think as opposed to when it was in person, where you would normally have all day sessions, these sessions are only going to be held for about 2 to 3 hours every day,
okay.
and they're only going to be held Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Um, because of the size of the group, so as mentioned, you're going to have persons from Bahamas, Suriname, Guyana, Trinidad, Jamaica, just to name a few. What they're going to do is they're going to have the sessions done. Some of the persons will be segmented to do the sessions in the morning, and some will be selected to do sessions in the afternoon. But they would only be for about 2 to 3 hours every day. The program itself is going to begin July 26th. So it'll run from July
Okay.
26th and it'll end on August 27th. In
Okay.
terms, so
So you
in
said it's
terms
from
of
July to
July
August
26th to August 27th.
to August 27th. Okay, so that would take up, the 5 week of the virtual engagements that they would have been engaging in. But can you give us an idea as to what are the numbers looking at? In previous years, you would select up to how many numbers per island country, and now that it's virtual, does that number remain the same, or has that number increased?
I've always liked you, Michelle, because I feel like I can be my greedy self with you. So, even though we are accredited to 7 islands, we are only allocated 7 slots. And one
Oh,
of those slots is for an adult mentor. So we're actually only allocated 6 spaces for our students. So to say that the program is competitive is an understatement.
mm,
What I am heartened by is that we get so many excellent applications across the region. Um, I don't know. It makes me feel proud as a Caribbean person to see these applications coming through. When you see the activities that our young people are involved in, these positive activities that are not always highlighted, and I will not get too much on my soapbox, but I will just say it always makes me very happy to see that we do have some excellent young persons in our communities in our region. So sorry for digressing. So we're allocated 6 students and 1 mentor, but because we want to make sure that we can have at least 1 student from each island that we are accredited to, the embassy would normally support or sponsor that other student's participation so that we can end up with 7 students, 1 from each country, and an adult mentor. So
Excellent, excellent.
enter COVID.
Mm,
What COVID did last year was that we actually were not able to host the program last year. But
right.
what we had done was we had gone ahead and we had actually interviewed and selected a cohort from last year. So those students and mentors will be automatically transferred to this year's virtual program, and we will still be applying or inviting applications for 7 students and 1 mentor to participate in the program this year. So we will have a bigger cohort this year, but that's because of
Right.
the 2020 plus the 2021 numbers that we have.
Okay, so I could definitely say that there's a pro and con, to COVID hitting. Um, though there is the absence of the travel, but the connection and also being able to have a larger group was the plus,
Yeah.
in having more people to participate. So for those of you who are watching this flyer right now, if any one of you would like a copy of this flyer, please let me know and I can ensure that you have a copy of this flyer. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have everybody back on the call, and we're going to just have some takeaways from everybody and then wrap up with what we want people to do, which is apply. Okay, so we'll be back after these messages. Please stay with us. And welcome back, everybody. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Your Startup Advisor with me, your host and moderator, Michelle Samuel. And we're talking about the Youth Ambassadors Program. And this is a U.S. Department of State program that is assisted by the U.S. Embassy. And I have 3 individuals who have joined me for this evening's program who have been talking about their experience in the Youth Ambassadors Program and also what to expect in this year's program. And I would like to just ask them to join me on stage right now. I'm bringing all of them back. And we're just going to have a bit of a chit chat. So, Lisa, Jamieson, Sherwin, you've each given very descriptive and comprehensive information about your experiences. So, can you just share? Any one of you can take this question. Can you just share why would you advise anybody who is eligible to apply to this program? Any one of you can take that one.
I think we both can, but I would say that this program is it's very helpful to your personal development, and due to you personally developing, externally you develop. You start to want to help more. You start to know the right way to help and do things and volunteer and just engage with people. Uh, I would say this program did a lot for my life, and if it can do it for me, I'm sure it can do it for other people, especially as I was in a stage, yes, that I was doing a lot, but it, doing a lot not with the right guidance. And I think this program ensured that I had the right guidance to do all what I was doing and to push me, because things that were taught back then, I use it in my daily life, and I know there are things that I would be using in my future. So yeah, it's very, very impactful.
Very well said, Sherwin. Very well said. So, Jameson, can you give us from an adult mentor's perspective? Can you Give one reason why you are encouraging other adult mentors like yourself to apply to this program.
Okay, well, speaking from a mentor's perspective, I would definitely say that as an adult mentor, this program teaches you how to manage different individuals, how to understand how diverse youth are across the Caribbean. It will also give you different qualities that you can use, especially when mentoring youth. And the most importantly, it's going to give you an appreciation for culturally diverse programs and how impactful it can be across the Caribbean region and globally as well. So to anyone who wants to apply as a mentor, I would say that if you're an individual who prides yourself on ensuring that you give up your best, you bring out individuals' best efforts, and you are willing to take someone from one journey all the way to the finish line, then this program is definitely for you.
Excellent, excellent. You closed it. You closed it. So let's go to Lisa now. So Lisa, this program is open. We're encouraging young persons. We're encouraging adult mentors. Can you let us know what timeline they have, for which to apply? What's that looking like? What's the deadline looking like?
Okay, so I just want to say it's really great seeing Jamieson and Sherwin. I think the last time I saw you guys was when you just come back. So it was literally everybody was tired. Everybody was, probably a little bit cranky for traveling back from the States and transiting through Barbados. So really great to see you guys. And I want to thank you as well for sharing your honest, your experiences. I think if I were maybe half my age, I'd be very happy to sign up for the program and to be considered in any way to participate. In terms of the timeline, so yes, as Michelle mentioned, the application period is open right now and it closes midnight on April the 12th. So you have until from now until April the 12th to apply. And as Sherwin alluded to, we usually try to get back within a month or so of um, your application, the application period closing, to at least give an indication of what your status is. So whether you've been called for an interview or not. And then following if you are selected for an interview, then you're told within a couple of weeks after that whether you have been accepted to participate in the program. So we try not to leave you guys in too much angst and anxiety and uncertainty about what's happening with your application.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for that information. So you heard it yourself. Applications are currently open. So those of you who have heard about the program, you've seen the program, you know people who participated in the program. It is currently open and accepting applications. But don't sit on your hands. Please apply. The deadline closes is April 12th, 2021, and that's at midnight. Not St. Lucian midnight, which is next day, midnight on the day, okay? Because we have a St. Lucian term. When when you're on time, you're late is the same time. No, not Lucian time. People, midnight, okay? Just letting you know. And I also want you to take a look at this link that I'm going to share at the bottom here. So for those of you who listen to what Lisa said, exchange programs. If you want to find out what other programming that you can get access to via the U.S. Embassy in Barbados, please take a look at their contact information below. So you can find them on Facebook, you can find them on Twitter, you can email them, and you also can find them on their website. That information will also be placed into the chat for you in the comment section. So feel free to revisit after this event and you'll still get access to this information. So not only the Youth Ambassadors program is available, other programs are being offered through the exchange department. So please, again, I say please, stop saying that there's nothing out there. Stop saying that there are no opportunities. You are hearing about them. So right now is a matter about you getting off your hands and doing something about it, okay? And also, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for joining me this evening on this show. I would like to, of course, encourage you to continue doing what you're doing. Sure, when you're doing amazing things with the St. Lucia Youth Students Council, I'm so proud of you. I mean, I knew you from when you were in Corinth, but now you have basically become a young man, and you are leading by example. So continue what you're doing. I can definitely see that this program made an impact on you. Jamieson, I mean, you are who you are. The program just amplified you. That's basically what I can say. The program amplified you for who you are. So I would just like for all of you, or for either of you who would like to know who our St. Lucian youth ambassadors are, because these two guys are just two of them. There are more. If you'd like to know who they are, you can visit this page. So this page was created so persons can connect with our St. Lucian youth ambassadors. So just go to this page and you can see who they are. You can see what they've accomplished, what they're doing. And also, if you would like to connect with them, feel free to reach out and, of course, connect with them. Again, thank you so much, Lisa, for joining. Thank you, Sherwin. Thank you, Jamieson. I would give each of you some final words to say while we wrap up for this evening. So let's start off with you, Lisa. What would your final words for us be?
I just want to say thank you again for inviting me to be a part of this. And I think the one bit of advice that I would give is give yourself the chance, give yourself the opportunity. There are people that I've talked to who've said, I couldn't possibly be accepted, so I'm not even going to bother to apply. And I think that's a wasted opportunity. So I think that you have to give yourself the chance to be considered, put yourself out there, because you may have different abilities to the persons that we spoke to today, but that does not mean that's the only ability that we're looking for. And that does not mean that you would be overlooked. So I want to say, give yourself the chance. And I'm looking forward to applications coming through from all the St. Lucian students out there. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have about the program. Thanks again for having me here tonight.
Excellent. And thank you so much, Lisa, for being with us. Sherwin, let's give you your final words. What are your final thoughts to everybody who's listening and watching?
I mean, I have so much to say, but I think we need to take advantage of this program. St. Lucians, we need to leave a mark not only in the tourism sector or in sports, but also in this program. And I will tell you, with this program, you get some of the main things, and I would say three of them that money cannot buy: the creation of memories, the personal development, and also getting to know other people across the Caribbean. On my phone, I have a contact for almost every member, or maybe every member was at this program, and I can text and say, hey, what's going on in Suriname, or a friend has an SBA to do, and the cultural stuff is on Dominica. I can text a friend in Dominica and ask this and that, and get also for our independence, for St. Richard's independence, a friend from Jamaica texted me and told me they want to highlight St. Lucia for independence. So what can I give them? I gave them an entire video, sorry, which highlighted Barbados and some pictures of St. Lucia and stuff. And I mean, that's to show you how simple it can be. That's to show you how simple it can be, and it can be much bigger than that. So, like I said, it gives you a network and a set of friends that money cannot buy. So, thank you very much. That's what I have to say.
Thank you so much, Sherwin, for those final words. And Jamieson, I saved the best for last. No offense, Lisa and Sherwin, but I know why I saved Jamieson for last, because he's the campaigner for this program. So, Jamieson, this is your last chance. Nobody else is going to
Yeah.
just pretend you're on this pedestal and nobody else will listen to after today. Sell it.
Okay, so my last words to every single person out there is to take a chance to make a change, to have a contribution to society. And what better place to get that than with the World Learning Youth Ambassadors Program with the US Embassy? That's my final words.
Jameson, you sold it. I am sold. I am sold. I am sold. And I'm hoping that everybody else was sold on it as well. I want to say thank you again, Lisa. It was a pleasure having you. Sherwin, thank you. Jameson, thank you. Have a blessed evening to the three of you. And that wraps it up for us, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Just again, a reminder that applications are currently open for the Youth Ambassadors Program. It will close on April 12th at midnight. St. Lucians, not next day, not on the 13th, on the 12th. Oh, please, so mark your calendars and apply for this program. If you would like to connect with the other local St. Lucian alumni who participated in this program, you can do so by going to St. Lucian Youth Ambassadors page on Facebook, and you will find out who those individuals are. Connect with them, have a discussion with them, and find out a little bit more about them. Also, if you would like to find out some more about the programming from the U.S. Embassy, you can follow them right here. Check them out on their website, bb.usembassy.gov. Follow them on Facebook, Embassy Bridgetown. On Twitter, U.S. Embassy BBDOS. Or you can email them at bridgetownexchanges@state.gov. Connect with the U.S. Embassy and find out what other exchange programs that are available aside from the Youth Ambassadors Program, and of course, aside from wildlife. Also, you can follow the St. Lucia National Students Council and find out what they're doing and the amazing work that Sherwin is doing with this council. I'm so very proud of this young man. I will not stop saying this. Also, if you would like to find out what our next programming is going to be, you can follow us. You can find us on Facebook, that is Your Startup Advisor, on Instagram, on Twitter, and of course on YouTube and on LinkedIn. If you would like to be a guest on the program, please email me at mich.n.samuel@gmail.com. Again, that is mich.samuel@gmail.com. Thank you once again for joining me this evening. This was episode 2 of Your Startup Advisor, talking about the Youth Ambassadors Program with the alumni Sherwin Alexander, Jamieson Edward, and Lisa Howell from the U.S. Embassy. A pleasant good evening to you, and have a pleasant and wonderful good night.